So those were the main players, the US, Russia and Ukraine. But what about the rest? What about the Western nations backing Ukraine? Well, they are still terrified. They are afraid that Russia will target them next, once it is done with Ukraine. So Europe is gearing up to defend itself. A number of events have just taken place across multiple European countries within the last 2 days. Let's go through them one by one, and we are starting with Germany. It is Europe's economic powerhouse. Yesterday, it broke its shackles. It relaxed its borrowing rules. This allows Germany to take on more debt, to borrow money to spend more on defense. It wasn't easy, of course. It required a 2/3 majority in the German parliament. But the incoming Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, said that there was no other option. This was the pitch he made before German lawmakers.
We have believed in a deceptive security in our society for at least a decade, probably much more. Now we have to rebuild our defense capabilities, partly from scratch, using a technology-driven defense and procurement strategy, with automated systems, with autonomous European satellite surveillance, with armed drones, and with many modern defense systems. And such a debt can only be justified under very specific circumstances and conditions. The circumstances are primarily determined by Putin's war of aggression against Europe. It is indeed a war against Europe, not just a war against the territorial integrity of Ukraine.
Merz said Germany needed to take on debt to improve its defenses. If it did not, Vladimir Putin would come for them. It's a bit like the story that parents tell their children, eat all your veggies or the scary monster will come and get you. Merz basically did the same thing, and it worked.
Ballots cast, 720. Yes votes, 513. No votes, 207. No abstentions. According to Article 79, Paragraph 2 of the Basic Law, the adoption of the law requires a 2/3 majority of the members of the German Bundestag. That would be 489 yes votes. The proposed bill has been approved with the required majority.
Some German citizens may not want to increase their debt. They may be horrified with what just happened. But you know who's happy? France.
I wanted to come back to several things. Firstly, to congratulate you on the historic vote of the Bundestag, which is good news for Germany and good news for Europe. Good news because it will mean more for defense and investment, and we need it.
French President Emmanuel Macron is thrilled because this fits right into his plans. Germany will loosen the purse strings and spend more on defense. Macron has long been talking about bolstering European defense. He wants an army for Europe. He has decided that France too will spend more on upgrading its defenses. President Macron made this announcement yesterday.
And I want to tell you that the Air Force will benefit from more orders of Rafales. This is a necessity in the current context. It is also a natural choice to integrate the effort of the airmen vis-à-vis Ukraine with the decommissioning of our Mirage jets. Yes, we will increase and accelerate our orders for Rafales.
France plans to modernize its air force. It plans to buy more Rafale fighter jets to upgrade its existing squadrons. So that was France and Germany. These are Europe's biggest economies, but they aren't the only ones planning for Russian aggression. Eastern European nations are arguably more scared. Nations like Poland, Estonia, Lithuania and Latvia, they are the ones that border Russia. They have previously been ruled by Moscow directly or indirectly. So these nations are on high alert and they have come up with a plan. Admittedly, a rather old-fashioned one. Poland and the Baltic nations are bringing back landmines. About 160 countries around the world have banned the use of landmines. We're talking about anti-personnel landmines, the ones that target humans. They were first banned in 1997. The Baltic nations joined this ban only in 2005 and Poland joined in 2012. But now these 4 countries are pulling out because they say Russia cannot be trusted. So you see how Europe is using the threat of Russia to arm itself. And this is bound to increase tensions and possibly anger Russia further. Let's hope Europe's fear-mongering does not become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Do you think that Ukraine is at its weakest position?
This war is not about Ukraine.
Do you believe that your president was insulted? Yes or no question? Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.
Diplomacy will work?
Yes,
Do you
it
think
will.
Russia will give up the territory if there is no ceasefire? Do you propose to keep fighting?
We are ready to resist.
Do you think there will be peace?
Many countries gave us 3 days.
President Trump said you don't have any cards.
We do not have another choice.
How do you keep fighting?
You ask me once again the same question.
Because you've not answered my question.
We have enough capacities to keep fighting.
Firstpost brings you the Ideas Pod at the Rafale Dialogue 2025, the largest gathering of global policymakers, thought leaders, and innovators, now on the fastest growing international news platform. Big ideas, big debates, big impact. Only at the Ideas Pod. Firstpost gives you front row access to the conversations that matter most. The Ideas Pod. Rafale Dialogue 2025 on Firstpost.